how do you separate the NPCs from the people who are truly alive, Eric? I'm just curious.
Me? Yeah. Either you're a creator or you're not.
You're a creator or you're not. Okay. NPC and living.
Yes.
Category.
Okay. That's the way I separate. What do you do?
Oh, well, I mean, there's just so many.
No, there's too much?
Mine's a little bit dark, a little bit of a darker interpretation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know where you were going with that.
I wasn't exactly going anywhere with it, but I've been exploring that the past few days, but mine is a little bit more of a
we can talk
sexual
about it.
Violence sort of situation.
Let's get violent.
Yeah, okay. Good.
I mean, why not?
Let's do it. I've been really enjoying this lately. Well, that's really good. Either you're a creator or you're not. I mean, complexity is less than simplicity. Simplicity is always better. But I was working with a theory that
you get complex.
Yeah, it's a little bit complex, but not that much. There's only a few variables.
Let's break it down for us.
I'll break it down. Everyone's got a body. Everyone can relate to this sort of thing.
Everybody's got a body.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
What's the differences between bodies? Let's get simple.
Yeah, it's
and
universally
then we'll get complex.
accepted. Yeah, people are universally abused, honestly. But I had a sort of a more mystical interpretation, or more abusive interpretation. But how I classify an NPC, someone who doesn't know they're not alive. A golem, I don't know if you want to get into the pronunciations. I like golem just because I know the name.
Accent to it.
Yeah, a certain accent to it. But a golem, that's an NPC, or that's sort of a creation of hypnosis or witchcraft and alchemy. I don't even want to worry about a golem, but an NPC is people's conception of normies that will go with the flow and will be overly influenced by the mainstream amplifications of the dissemination of their information warfare.
You know anybody like that?
Yeah, I know a lot like that. Most people are like that.
Yeah.
But I have a little bit of a test. You know how there was a test? Yeah, you know how in the thing from '81, remember John Carpenter? He did a little bit of a movie with Kurt Russell and Goliath from Gargoyles.
Carpenter or Carpenter?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone got fucked up. Even Cocoon was in that movie. But they had a test. They had to look at a blood test, and they could see if people were going to be turned into aliens and all that shit. They had a test. There was a lot of different things. Even the aliens did some crazy stuff, but I have a test. It's that if you were going to enter into a dialogue, or a discourse, or a debate with somebody, I say I have a litmus test, or perhaps a sort of an auto initiation that people must enjoy if they're going to pass through the fire. And
someone's going to debate.
Me.
Someone's going to debate with you.
If someone wants to dance with me, they're going to have to.
This prerequisite.
Show me their insides. Yeah. This prerequisite.
It's never happened before.
I'm still waiting. Everyone thinks they're so smart.
Nobody's debating. So anyway, stupid. For the future, if anybody wants to debate with Charles.
Yeah, if everyone wants to debate, I guess
you gotta show me your insides.
Yeah, you gotta show me your insides. You're gonna have to admit to 3 different things. One of them is that you are right. The premise of your argument, wherever you are, it's coming from an intelligence or a brain and a body that has been raped and weakened and enslaved just from being born in this age.
So generational.
Yeah, I mean, just so many different factors. But I mean, you put forth that a lot of things that you're introduced to are by force in this world, are not by your consent, and that constitutes for silent warfare, I guess, if you want to get 90s about this sort of stuff.
I guess it is, and it's since you were born too.
And even since before you were born, it's been happening. But it puts a different ring on things. It puts a different perspective on things, because you can live your whole life and things remain the same and they never change. They seemingly only get worse. And I'm not trying to sort of say over here.
No doom and gloom, but it's
not really.
It's always good to know this. Right?
It's good to know.
You have to keep your mind open to these things.
It's good to know. And this is a wild
happy
thing.
Wisdom.
This is a wild thing to put on the table, because most people aren't familiar with knowing or acknowledging or even or knowing what abuse is. I'm not looking to make this the abuse episode.
No, but it is like the beaten dog thing, right?
It's a beaten dog. It's learned helplessness, which is the end game of any military that has a monopoly on force and people in a corral. Then learned helplessness is either that or kill everybody.
Right.
And be ruler of nothing. There's only 2 things.
But it's beat the herd.
Yeah.
Beat the herd and they're going to do what you ask, right? That's the way it goes. You don't even have to
get
ask.
them to beat themselves, and you get them to beat other people. We've seen it. There are so many examples. I don't even want to rave about it.
So I'm trying to think how full circle we're coming back to debate. That's
If people aren't able to even have it on the table that they have been affected by the media around them or by the sexuality in the culture, then they are not fit to be spoken to at all.
All right, so
then there are NPCs. If they're not even open to the fact that it could even have happened to them at all.
And you don't care to debate with that.
You don't care to debate with people who do not know that they've been abused.
Don't you think?
I mean, I'm not trying to drag this down, but
people are opening their eyes to this.
Yeah,
there's more and more and more. Everybody's
there's an age of revelation happening right now. People are pretty familiar with it.
Because I would say like this generation is the most fucked, but I do think this generation might be opening their eyes.
They're opening their eyes, and this is not the most. Every generation since the lost generation onward has been absolutely annihilated by economic or military means or whatever the hell. You can pick anything out of a hat, how to kill people on an industrial scale. It's been used in the past couple centuries. It doesn't matter what.
And that's all tying back to this fucking full moon.
It's the full moon. It's the full moon, and I'll say if you can't admit that you were raped, then I'm not even gonna talk to you. That's pretty much the gist of this.
If you want to admit to the abuse, Charles doesn't even
I'm out of here. I don't even want to hear what you're smoking.
I don't even care what you have to say.
I'm actually too smart for what you're going to say.
Charles, while we're on this subject, because this was a good one.
Yeah.
Talking about like the whole time travel situation. We're trying to get ourselves into a timeline.
Oh my God.
This is deep. And
I've been struggling with this.
It's going to be actually hard, I think, for us to frickin' get back in the timeline and been talking about it.
Yeah. I'm down to jump into it if you're feeling it right now.
I do.
100%.
I just think with what we're talking about, we should.
Because I was getting down a really insane path, and I'm glad it didn't turn as disgusting as it should have been. So it's really good.
No, it's good. But there is the Untrained Minds.
Being a victim. And this ties right into this, but just in a less vulgar way, in a better way. Being the victim of an untrained mind can ruin your life and send you to hell.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. It can take your living life and turn it into a dead machine hell.
But Charles has been telling me that Jesus Christ himself said that God has been building mansions.
Yeah, this has been smashing me.
So, even when he was telling me this, I was not grasping it, and it's hard because you called it mystics.
Yeah, well, I feel that the mystic interpretation of these ideas is necessary to penetrate the Minecraft, to penetrate the witchcraft that we've all been surrounded by. Yeah, exactly.
But it's true. So. Jesus Christ said that God is building mansions.
This was a different style, and you could point to the Gospels. I forget where it was.
But either way, we're trying to figure out. Okay, where's the
concept of many mansions? The mystic interpretation is required because everything is the waters are so muddied. You need something that is beyond your regular intelligence, something that could possibly ring true and be universal and felt even in your DNA, if it even exists.
Now, I'm going to tell you where this conversation started because I think it makes sense, especially going even back to saying creators, right? Creators versus NPCs.
Yeah.
So Charles and I were saying that, I said, what do I have to wake up drunk to get something done in the field of being creative? Mm-hmm. Because
we were talking heavy stuff. We were talking heavy,
this is
heavy life.
But I was telling Charles, we get together, we have a couple drinks, and maybe we have one drink. And then things change, and we start figuring out where we need to go. Yeah. Now, of course, that sounds like drunk talk.
No, it does.
But
I mean, that's fine.
That's what like got us into this pipeline of what we're talking about.
We were thinking about these things in all possible directions.
And I said, why? I said, why after one drink we start making sense and saying to ourselves, okay, we gotta Monday.
You stop sweating the small stuff, is what you mean.
In other words, you're brushing off life, like the hardships, whatever the hell you're encountering, but you're brushing off that little shit and you're getting down the brass tacks of what you want to do creatively.
Yep.
And things start making sense. And I said, why? And Charles was starting to say alcohol, weed, whatever the hell it might be for a creator.
Self-medication is associated with creation.
But I mean, you're just saying those were, hallucinogenic, I think might have been the word you said a little bit. But
any substance that is mind-altering is is, for one thing, an intelligent entity, and something that is older than you and smarter than you, and something that can control you in ways that are invisible?
So, doing that, brushing off that small shit, doing that stuff, you're brushing off all that crap. Now we're starting to get creative. And he started bringing up the fact that Jesus Christ said, there's mansions built for you. Now, this is left to interpretation anyway.
This is a mystic interpretation, even though it is gospel.
So there is a matrimony between feeling this way and these mansions. Now, what does it mean? Charles, your idea of how you put it together,
I was trying to bridge the gap. I was trying to bridge the gap, and I was reading, it was like, Neville Goddard. I was looking into Christian mystics, and this was your faith is your fortune, and there was a lot of ideas that I really appreciated and that rung true. But I was thinking of bridging the gap between, if you are an intelligent being, a lot of these ideas come from this mystic realm. It doesn't come from psychology or psychiatry. It comes from a Christian mystic realm. And first of all, we've been sort of void grasping, reaching out into things that we aren't really exactly cognizant of. I've been enjoying this method of bullshitting, I guess you could call it, for many years.
But even that's part of like the creative fun.
Yeah, it's
bullshitting through this stuff.
It's part of the creative fun. You make it up, but there's a point where
the matrimony between those mansions and you brushing off that shit and getting in the mode and starting like the fortune.
And the Sunday thing, I didn't even have time to mention. Go ahead.
What about the Sunday thing?
It's the hypnosis instead of mind-altering substances, and I was trying to either redefine or re-energize what it is of faith. What faith is and what prayer is the application of faith, and bridging the gap between the execution of a sorcery that's not sorcery. I'm always looking for the opposite of what I see in Hollywood. I'm always looking for the execution of the exact opposite of what I see.
Let's boil it down. So faith is your fortune, which is like a different way of saying.
The concepts in there that blew my mind.
Which is a different way of saying dreams are the blueprints of the future type talk.
And
right?
yeah, you mentioned that.
So think about it that way. Now we're talking about brushing off that crap. Think about having faith through the moon and this crap we're talking about.
Yeah.
You've got a bunch of demons around you at this time, and everybody's barking on your neck.
Everyone's a
right.
werewolf.
If you have faith going through that crap because you brushed off the little shit in your life, now all of a sudden you're being creative. Things come true because you're having faith in that. All that stuff. That's and then I mean, this sounds crazy, but sure, mansions built by God, you having the faith through it, you're going to get to where you want to be, right? It's a goal-orientated.
You have to first be cognizant of the qualities in which you wish to be imbued with moving forward. You have to first understand what a more perfect self, a version of yourself is. Otherwise, you will always be going nowhere.
It was about bettering yourself first.
It's about a way of upgrading that is, in a sense, that is hidden from you or taken from you or not taught. It's ways...
Or abused out of you.
They're abused out of you. If you're an NPC, I guess, you're not open to that fact, you know. It happens.
It's tough being a creative. It really is, though.
Tortured legends. Isn't it hard to be a tortured legend?
Charles knows me as a laborer.
Yeah.
And he was just saying that, you know, I'm not scared of work.
Yeah.
But I am scared of not knowing what to do next as a creative. And that's like my problem. Charles is way more creative than I am. But I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not being offensive, but I'm saying like, but I'm more laborer. You're more creative. And that's probably would make a good team anyway.
Yeah, there's a team.
But that's like my problem, and that's his problem.
Yep.